Hey guys, 3D Printed Life here. Today I'm bringing you a quickie video, might not be too quick, about my new extruder, now released on Thingiverse for download. Link in the description. That way you can find it. Guarantee it. So, what is this extruder? Why is it better than the stock extruder? And why is it, in my opinion, better than the other 2 or 3 two-up replacement extruders out there at the moment? Well, I will get into that very quickly. First of all, it uses almost all the stock hardware. You do have to buy some extra hardware, but it is a very common hardware, so you can get it at basically any hardware store, and it's only a few small things. It requires one M3 by 20mm bolt, one M3 nut, and 2 M3 by 10mm bolts. One is right there, you can see it, it holds this side together, and the other goes through the lever inside. So that's all it requires. It's like less than 50 cents worth of hardware, so not a big deal at all. It uses the same spring, the same idler bearing, and the same pulley, same stepper of course. It also reuses these wood pieces as spacers. Now onto the features. It is symmetric, so you can reverse it and have the little bump out and the extruder to the shifted to the left or shifted to the right, depending on your configuration. If you printed this gantry, you're going to want it on your left. If you have the stock, you're going to want it on the right. And it's really easy to flip. It's honestly perfectly symmetrical, with the exception of that screw hole that's back there. Now also, it has grooves. I'm going to go over here. This is the old version, but it's essentially the same. It's not a big update. It has grooves on the top. It's not going to focus. It has grooves on the top here, and then on the bottom guiding into the hot end. What that does is it makes it much easier to load the filament, in conjunction with a lever right underneath here that you can just squeeze quite easily. It's nice and out of the way, so it doesn't look ugly. Although, I mean, the screw's kind of technically ugly, but whatever. But you can kind of just like pinch this whole side and it will release pretty easily. It's also got a clamp style hot end mount, which is much more secure. The new version has about a 5mm bump down, as you can see there, and that just gives it some extra space to clamp onto the hot end, which is nice. What I would say the best and the most unique feature of this extruder is the fact that it has an adjustable tension via a screw for the lever arm. How that works is you've got the lever arm that sits in here with the bearing on it, and in this channel there's a spring. You put the nut there, and then obviously the screw goes in the top. As you tighten down this screw, it pushes on the spring. There's a little spacer in between the two, and that pushes down on this arm, which then forces it to pivot like this, which ends up pushing the bearing that way. And then you can obviously push the lever to release it. But as you can see, you can tension it with this, make it tighter or looser, and it doesn't change a thing other than the maximum amount of tension that goes on this lever arm, which is really nice because, well, first of all, it's a lot easier to adjust, whereas the other lever design, it did have an adjustable tension, but you had to take it apart and put in physical spacers. So this, I find, obviously it's much easier because you can just tighten the screw. Although it does require extra hardware, but, you know, not a big deal. Another feature is that it will have a fan mount eventually. There is a groove cut out of the side here. Focus. There's a groove cut out of the edge right there. So there will be a fan mount that you can just kind of slide in. It will go through the screw and pop out the side to mount the fan on right here sideways, so you don't have to like glue it to the stepper with a bracket thing like I did. I guess that's really it as far as features go. I don't know. It's really just simple. It's a box design with chamfered edges, so it looks pretty basic yet somewhat elegant, I guess you could say. I really wasn't going for the aesthetic side. I just wanted it to look simple, and it works. I mean, I haven't had a problem with it yet. This is the newest version, 4.2, which is going to be most likely the last version, with the exception of the fan bracket that I'll be adding, but that won't change the version. And yeah, so here it is. I mean, that's really it. It's the whole extruder. If you would like to make it, like I said, Thingiverse link down there, you can go check it out. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like the extruder. And if you do make it, I would greatly appreciate if you guys left feedback on the Thingiverse page or here about how it printed for you, because I know not all printers are the same. But I do want to make this as uniform as possible across all printers, because mine might be calibrated differently than all yours, and in that case it's gonna mess things up and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna stop rambling now, so you guys can enjoy your new extruder if you feel like printing it. Oh, one last thing I should mention. I also went to make it very material efficient, I guess you could say. So printing the body, both pieces, and both pieces of the lever costs less than $1 in plastic. Printed at 50% infill, it takes about 25 cubic centimeters, maybe 30. And depending on where you bought your plastic, that could be barely $1, which is pretty awesome for a nice new extruder. And lucky you guys, you don't have to print out a bunch of them to test like I did. I printed out, I think, 4 or 5 bodies. Still not bad for $5 for a nice new extruder, but you know, what can you do? So thank you for watching. If you like this video, thumbs up. Subscribe to see more. That's it. I'll see y'all later.